Hi, friends. So we're going to start a new topic this week talking about immigration. And all of our stories we read in the next couple of days are going to be talking about and want us to think about why do people immigrate to new places? Okay. Take a minute and look at this photograph you see on your screen. Think about, what do you notice? What do you see? Is it the same as what you would see right now if we go outside of our school on the streets? Or is it different? What are the people wearing? What do their clothes look like? What does it look like they might be doing on the street? So the people here are in the street, and it looks like they're selling items and buying items or goods. So buying and selling items. These people are immigrants. To immigrate means to move to a new country. It's different than moving to a new state or a new town. Okay. So if I move from Smyrna to Dover, I'm not immigrating because I'm not moving to a new country. If I move from the United States of America to Canada, I could say that I immigrated because I moved to a new country. So to immigrate means you move to a new country. Why might these people have immigrated to the United States or whatever country they immigrated from? Why might people want to leave their home and their country and go somewhere else? I think these people in this photograph may have immigrated and moved to a new country for a new job. They're hoping that where they move to has better job opportunities for them to be successful and to support themselves and their families. Many immigrants felt sure there were many new opportunities or chances for a better situation in the new country that they moved to. They also believe their lives will be better in their new home. When they immigrated to the new country, they thought they would have better opportunities and better lives in their new home. We're going to now look at some photographs and talk about why people might be immigrating and what we see in the photographs. We'll come back to that. So, new places and finding a home. Take a minute and look at this photograph. Here I see people, and I see a young lady, looks like she's looking for vegetables or shopping for vegetables on the streets. The caption for this photograph says that immigration still happens today. These immigrants are actually refugees that came to the United States to escape wars in their countries. So they are immigrants because they came from their country to the United States. And they're called refugees because they came to the United States to escape wars and dangerous situations in their own countries. Take a minute and look at these children. Where do you think they are? Do they look happy? This is an actual photograph of three Japanese children, and it was taken on the deck of a ship named the Shiyu Maru as it arrived in San Francisco in California. So these children they were immigrants, but it doesn't show any parents. So they may have immigrated with their families, their parents, or another family member to have a better life in the United States. And they came in by boat in California. And we can see, if you look at their clothing, It doesn't look fancy. It looks a little bit too big for them. And I see this boy in the middle or this girl in the middle, and looks like she's wearing many different layers of clothing to stay warm. And I'm wondering if that's the only items that personally belong to them that they were able to bring with them. And if you look closely at their shoes, it also looks like their shoes might be too big. And this little girl all the way on the left looks like she's wearing socks with flip-flops. So that she didn't have very much, and her family didn't have very much. Here's another one. In this drawing, I see, looks like some pilgrims and some immigrants came over on a boat. And I noticed that there are a lot of people on that small boat. This is a drawing that illustrates the year 1620, when the Mayflower brought the pilgrims to America. The pilgrims left Europe hoping to find religious freedom in the New World. So again, they were immigrants that came over for a better opportunity, and they wanted religious freedom, which means they simply just wanted to be able to believe in their religion and their beliefs freely without having somebody tell them that their beliefs were wrong. And the last one, have a look. Take note of all that is happening in this illustration and what all the people are doing and what they might be feeling. This is a drawing, and it says the pilgrims had to work hard to settle in their new community and their new colony. They had to cut down trees to clear land and to make lumber for building. So it shows them clearing land and working hard to make the lumber to build. They had to do everything. They had to cut down the tree. They had to mill it. They had to put it up. And you see the guy in the back here, and he's actually taking those pieces and building their house. And it was long, hard work, and everybody had to participate and work together to do it. So all of these photos and drawings that we just looked at really gives us an idea and gets us thinking about new places and people finding a new home and why they might have sought out a new home and immigrated to a new country, and that it might not have always been super easy to do. Let's go back to our opener video for this week and let's watch. And I want you to listen to what it's telling you and really think about what it's telling us.
Why do people immigrate to new places? From 1892 to 1954, more than 12 million people, or immigrants, left their homes to come to America, often for religious freedom and more opportunities. The first stop for many when they got here was Ellis Island in New York Harbor. Seeing the Statue of Liberty gave them hope. Today, immigrants continue to move to America. They come from different countries around the world. These immigrants make new homes for themselves and their families. The Statue of Liberty is still a symbol of freedom and hope for all. Immigrants have helped grow America into a better and stronger country.
Let's watch that one more time.
Country. Why do people immigrate to new places? From 1892 to 1954, more than 12 million people, or immigrants, left their homes to come to America, often for religious freedom and more opportunities. The first stop for many when they got here was Ellis Island in New York Harbor. Seeing the Statue of Liberty gave them hope. Today, immigrants continue to move to America. They come from different countries around the world. These immigrants make new homes for themselves and their families. The Statue of Liberty is still a symbol of freedom and hope for all. Immigrants have helped grow America into a better and stronger country.
Okay, so now let's get into our lesson. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about immigration and why people move to new places. We're going to start with our read aloud story, which is titled Our Story Cloth. And this is a historical fiction story. So, historical fiction stories are stories that are based on actual historical events. It has characters, setting, and events that are realistic, which means they could be true, and has a mix of historical fiction along with historical fact. So, a historical fiction story includes things that are not real and many things that are real within the story. And we'll talk a little bit more about historical fiction as we go throughout this week, so it's more familiar to you. This story is called Our Story Cloth. Remember, as I read, that when people immigrate, they sometimes means they have to leave their home country and settle in a new place. Okay. And imagine how hard that would be if you had to leave your home country, not just your town, but your entire country to go somewhere else that you have no idea about, has never been before. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read this story titled Our Story Cloth to you. And I want you to listen as I read. Our Story Cloth. My family is moving to a new place far away. We are leaving our small farm that is perched on the side of a rugged mountain in Laos. I wonder if the United States will have mountains such as ours. After traveling many days by cart, then bus, then boat, then airplane, we arrived in the United States in a place called California. There are mountains in the distance, but they are far away. Our family has a Hmong friend here who has found a place for us to live. It is an apartment, and we must climb many steps to get to our door. It is a little like climbing a mountain that is indoors. I share a room with my two sisters. At night, we talk about the village that we left behind. We each tell one thing that we miss, but we also talk about the exciting things we are learning here. Today, I learned to say, the year is 1977, and the president is Mr. Jimmy Carter. We practice speaking English to each other. Sometimes we laugh when we say the wrong word. Our mother has been working on a secret project. It covers the entire wall in our apartment. Every day when we are at school, she works to complete it. She says that tonight it will be ready to show us. I wonder what it could be. It has been hidden behind a dark cloth for many weeks. After we have a special meal, our mother tells us it is time for the surprise. She takes away the dark fabric, and on the wall we see our family story cloth. With many colors of thread, our mother has made pictures of our mountain farm, our village, and even many of our friends we left behind. Now, whenever we feel homesick, we can look at our story cloth. We can pretend that we are there. The story cloth will always help us to remember where we came from. This is a nice story to help us to think about people who immigrate and where they came from. Okay. And we can see here in this historical fiction story of Our Story Cloth that it starts with telling us where they came from. Okay. In a place far away in Laos. Okay. Is where they immigrated from. Okay. And they're hoping to have a better life. Right. So they left the mountains and the trees and the fields to live in an apartment building. And when they lived in the apartment building, they kind of were feeling homesick and were missing where they were from, even though it was new and exciting where they were living now. So her mom weaved and made them a story cloth. This story cloth is a picture of where they were from to help them to not feel homesick and to help them to remember where their family and where their heritage are from, with the mountains and the trees and the little village. So this is a historical fiction story, kind of gets us in the idea of thinking about immigration. And this is a story that is true. People do weave and make art like this to tell about different places and different events in their lives, especially those who immigrate and want to remember their culture and where they are from. Before we go on, I wanted to show you guys so you get a better idea of what it means to immigrate, where they're talking about in the story. So Laos is over here, okay? And this is a close-up map up here in your top right of Laos in near China. And you can see here the tree village and their homes made of sticks and other materials that are around them. And here is a river on the bottom that shows the mountains in the backgrounds and the trees. And this is where the family was originally from. And this is a map of the United States, I'm sorry, of the world. And you can see all the countries: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. And then here is Laos. And so her family came all the way across the Pacific Ocean. So they went this way and landed in California. So they immigrated to a new country a long ways away. And the green star is California. It's on the complete opposite side as where Delaware is here in the United States. Okay, just so for reference, you can see how far they immigrated from. Let's finish up with some vocabulary today. These words are words you are going to see in the next couple of days as we read. So the first word is arrived. Say it with me. Arrived. When you arrive somewhere, you get to where you are going. For example, you arrived to school this morning when you got here by bus, or maybe you walked to school, but when you get to your school, it means you arrived. When you get to where you're going, it means you arrived. Immigrated. We've heard this word before. Immigrated means to have to come to a new country to live. This is a photograph of a lot of immigrants lined up to check in at their new country. Not sure if this is Ellis Island, but it might be of people immigrating to the new country from wherever they came from. Ellis Island, which is in the United States in New York, is a place where a lot of people immigrated from a long time ago. And when they saw the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, they felt freedom. That was a symbol of freedom to them. And they immigrated, means they have to come to a new country to live. Inspected. Inspected means to have to look at something closely and carefully. If you're inspecting something, you're looking at it closely and you're looking at all of the details you might see in that item. A moment is just a very short amount of time. A moment is a short amount of time. For example, if you strike a match, or your parents strike a match to light the wood stove or to light a candle, that match only stays lit for a moment before it goes out. This dolphin is only out of the water for a moment, a short amount of time before it falls back into the water. An opportunity. Opportunity means it's a chance for good things to happen. A lot of the immigrants came over to the United States or moved to a different country, which means they immigrated for an opportunity. The opportunity was a chance for good things to happen. That opportunity could have been a job, could have been a home, it could have been to live with other family members. It could have been an opportunity for religious reasons also. So, an opportunity is a chance for good things to happen. Photographs. Photographs are pictures that you take with a camera. Valuable. If something is valuable, it is worth a lot of money or it means a lot to someone. For example, if this grandma is getting a card from her grandson, it says, "Get well soon." It is very valuable to her because he handmade it. He took the time to make it himself, so it is very valuable to her. This clay pot and this diamond ring could also be valuable to people for different reasons. Remember, something is valuable if it's worth a lot of money or it means a lot to somebody. That means it is valuable. If it is special to you, it is valuable. Whispered. Whispered means to speak in a very quiet voice. If I am whispering, you can't hear me on the other side of the room because I'm speaking in a very quiet voice. All right, we're going to get into some this or that, and this is where you are going to be marking your answer just as a guess or think about what does that word mean. So I'm going to ask you in just a second to close this video and go back to your slide presentation, and you're going to practice that vocabulary. You're going to look at the vocabulary word, and then you're going to look at two pictures and which picture matches that vocabulary word's definition. And you'll be marking this or that on each slide. Go ahead and close this video, YouTube video, and we'll get to our activity from our lesson.